Hello, my name is Mark Mosley. This is an action research study I've done myself about making thinking visible in mathematics classrooms with the use of journals to enhance understanding. This year I'm teaching 3 sessions of math and 2 sessions of science, and the time that I have with each group is less than the previous year. And I've noticed I haven't had that same time to make strong connections that I had the opportunity to have last year. I've heard of math interactive journals, and I feel like and felt like it would take up too much time considering that I have less time with each class this year. I then thought about the thinking deeper, explaining reasoning questions that are in the math book, questions that my current students would just pass over or fail to complete correctly on the math lessons, the tests, the district mandated topic assessments. And that's when I thought about implementing those types of questions into a journal where feedback could be provided. Students could make visible thinking on the page, and I could help foster better understanding, reasoning, and clarifications, and more to the students that I didn't have the time to do so in a detailed manner during class. In addition, I'd be getting to better learn about the way that they think, which would help me better plan lessons and provide more appropriate interventions. My goal for my students was to be able to explain the understanding with reasoning and to be able to problem solve without feeling unable or for explaining themselves would be too much of a task, or to continue to consider reasoning to be an equation, or because that's what I got when I worked it out. I wanted them to improve on the district topic assessments. I really wanted them to improve on the district topic assessments. The action research took place within my own classroom. I implemented the journal with all 3 of my 4th grade mathematics classes. I have a total of 62 students. Will my students still try to skip the explain your thinking questions? Will my students properly respond when asked to explain? Will they do better on the district topic assessments? Will I understand their thinking better and be able to plan from it? How are these journals going to benefit my students? My plan included having my students answer a bell ringer question similar to thinking deeper, problem solving, reasoning, and explanation questions from our Go Math books. The question would come from the lesson the day before. I modeled my expectations with some examples based on the past topic of dividing whole numbers as a review and segued into what they'd be learning next. Comparing fractions. I began doing differentiated instruction for the last topic, which was division, and issuing a retake of that assessment. I monitored the participation and execution level, and they answered extended explanatory and reasoning questions within the lessons that they receive on a daily basis. So I used the topic assessment provided by Miami-Dade County Public Schools, observation, and conversation, along with the Go Math series lessons to check for understanding. The journal entries will come from the alternative lessons online with a series that align to the standards being taught and are the same concepts with just different names and values. And if all goes well, I will continue to implement these journals throughout the year and find ways to enhance them and their purpose. I feel the topic assessments are reliable because they're specifically measuring the student's ability to problem solve and prove mastery of the standard being tested. And the tests are perfectly aligned to the standards and contain specific questions that assesses all these different areas of problem solving and use a variety of question types. Some questions even give an example of the problem, a narrative and an answer of a person completing the problem, and that person has the wrong answer. The question will prompt the student to figure out where the person went wrong and how, and then try to solve to find the actual answer. The assessments are specifically geared toward understanding and problem-solving steps and strategies, which really is what the journals are trying to improve on. The test is reliable because it is only important to my students and the knowledge they are able to prove of the standard being assessed. Comparing this to past assessments and retaking the previous to see if journaling in a small group setting will actually enhance their learning. And I understand that the question of lesson planning based off of the journal's befitting instructions is lacking a way to know the outcome, and I plan to figure out that more moving forward, and hopefully we'll be able to know more about that by the New Year's after winter break. When discussing the journaling, I will admit that there really wasn't time to do so when it came to the whole group lesson in journaling. However, in differentiated instruction groups, I was able to do so with students within the group, and that in itself, I feel, really just helped them immensely. They were also very excited to feel a certain positive way because it wasn't high achievers helping them, it was them helping each other. Will my students still try to skip the explain your thinking questions? Some did, but 80% successfully could complete them and did towards the end of the topic. Will my students properly respond when asked to explain? Well, in small groups, they were able to, and in the lessons, they were 80% doing it correctly. Will they do better on the district topic assessments? Yes. They improved on the topic assessments for that chapter when the journals were implemented with the new topic and remedial. Will I understand their thinking better and be able to plan from it? I did subconsciously, but that is the next phase for this action research, and I need to figure out how I can use what I learn about my students to plan for these lessons. How are these journals going to benefit my students? Well, I feel the journals were great and were able to benefit my students' mathematical comprehension, the understanding, the communication, and help them succeed on the district assessments. Completing this action research project was a really great experience for me as an educator, and I feel I'll benefit and improve over time and with experience. I was able to learn about myself along with my students in a way that wasn't so typical. Having conversations in the differentiated instruction groups was a great way for me to get to know them and their thinking, along with their style and their communication skills. I know that I will benefit with planning in the long run. I really will. I think that using journals across curriculum is a growing trend that is proving to be effective, and after trying it out, I've jumped on the bandwagon and can agree. I use it a lot for science, and I just had a little extra time. It was easy to implement. Math was a different story, but I hope that by more people advocating and publishing reports, more teachers will try it for themselves and therefore can benefit along with their students. I plan on working out how to plan using what I learn about my students' thinking and understanding to better move them along. I'm just not sure how to go about it thus far, and I'm still deciding on the focus. I know that more will come along from this first trial, though. The intervention could have been improved with more experience from me, the researcher. That comes with time, so I can't really help that. I also learned I should have recorded the conversations we were having in order to remember them and really have a better way to go back and analyze that. Since it was in small groups, I didn't want to be recording their responses and making them feel uncomfortable or neglected by me. I like giving them all of me with no distractions. Their minds wander so easily. And I know it wasn't perfect. I understand there's a lot of room to improve on as a researcher, but I'm proud of what I did and what I could do. Going in the right direction will eventually get you to the destination, and you can always make a U-turn if you're headed the wrong way.